One of my girlfriends told about a former relation, and at one point he had said to her, if I see you with a girl again, I'm going to smash your face. Now, the relationship didn't last that long, but this really got her really scared. And of course, she was hiding it from me and afraid that I would also react in the same way. And when she realized she could talk about her attractions to the same sex, it felt that she was a whole lot more, much more relaxed in all possible ways. And coming from what is violence in a relationship, I think that fear is a very important word. When you're afraid of something, when you're not doing something because you think that can either turn into pain or take away something good you have, I think that is what I call violence. In BDSM, you have an agreement about what is okay. So then you can have the pain without necessarily that fear. You have set some limits, and even if these are not limits that I choose to play within, I can see that these limits creates a safe area for the play. I think also a part that I consider violence is when somebody is trying to limit my freedom. So there are a lot of sects which are polygamous, which practice mostly men marrying more women, and I don't like particularly the idea that this is only one way, that the women does not have that freedom, and so I sense that that is not what I consider a polyamorous relationship, if the freedom does not go both ways. It is a different thing if the woman is satisfied with her man and says, no, for my other relationships I prefer to have women. But if it's what is called the one penis policy, that I can have more women, but my female relationships are only allowed to have me as their penis, which I think is a big limitation of freedom. But again, it's a difference if this is a choice, that the woman chooses to have female lovers or relationships, rather if it's sort of, in this relationship, it's one man, one penis, and the rest are women. There are different kinds of violence. You have psychological, you have sexual, you have verbal, you have physical, and a lot of these kinds of violence, they are mixed into each other. There was a woman who spoke to me and said, I'm ashamed that I've been divorced twice, because it means that I have not made a good choice with my relationships twice. And I said, no, try to look at it this way. 2 times you have been able to get away from a relationship that was destructive. So you should applaud yourself on that instead. And this is again one way of reframing things, looking at it from another point of view. I do not have that much experience from violence, physical violence in relationships. But when to leave such a relationships, you might ask yourself also, why did I seek this relationship? What questions can I pose next time so I don't happen to get into the same mix? Because a lot of people end up in the same kind of relationships, and it's like a loop. So one good thing is to see, what can I do to break that loop? As I was doing research for this topic, I was googling, among other things, polyamory and violence. And most of the cases that I found, I would not classify them as what I say in my definitions as polyamorous relationships, because there was very often lacking of consent and lacking of equality among those involved. Violence of trust, violence of agreements. So how am I going to trust you if you can't, if we are saying to meet at 5 o'clock and you're not coming at 5 o'clock and you haven't sent me a message? Can I then trust you in relationship with the other relationships and the agreements we made on those subjects? So of course there are people who have said, okay, with this person I can make a deal, we meet at 5 o'clock and I know that this person will be there. With other people I make rather a deal, well, let's meet around 5ish in this place and I'll bring a book, so, or some work, so I will not have thrown away this time, because I know from earlier that this person comes late or this person maybe not show up. And this is again different from renegotiating something. If you have said that you've agreed to something and it's not good, then you can say, hey, I want to look at this once more and then see, this is what I want. So, homework, in case you want to do it, this is your possibility. How do you define violence and abuse in relationships? And do you have any examples or experiences that you can share? Next topic coming up will be coming out.